Sonder Connect helps women run business, gets discovered and scale up by providing their founders the mentoring they need from a community of executives, leaders, and fellow founders. Lathika Pai is country head, VC and PE partnerships for Microsoft and founder of Sonder Connect. Welcome, Lathika. We are thrilled to have you here in studio live with us and looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you, Roopa. It's really a big honor for me to be here today, to be a part of Target Elevate. I remember the time the idea was conceived in 2020, and to be here at the third edition is something absolutely fantastic, and kudos to everyone at Target for pulling this together.
It's such a pleasure to have you, and you have attended, from what I believe, a couple of sessions. I'm curious to know what has resonated to you so far.
You know, the message which comes out really loud and clear is the power of communities. The ability to engage with others, not just in your organization, but outside, to give you the strength to really take the risks and challenges. You know, you heard Sonam say about risks and challenges. You had Apurva this morning talk about risks and challenges. We just heard Aditi talk about risks and challenges, right? You can't do this journey alone. It is the power of the community that's going to help you in that journey.
I think I'm going to segue into the right question, because next is about communities and connections. So your life as a women leader, as an entrepreneur, as a technologist is truly inspiring. What role has mentors and communities and connections played in your journey so far?
I would say almost everything. The reason why I truly have enjoyed my professional journey, both being in the corporate world in the US and today at Microsoft, and also as a startup founder, has been because at every stage I've had mentors and a support system that has really helped me achieve what I've wanted to achieve. What's interesting is today where I am, I look to mentors who are much younger than me, who have had the experience and expertise. There are founders who are, in their 20s and 30s, almost as old as my children, who give me phenomenal advice. So when you look at a mentor, it doesn't have to be someone older and more experienced. I think the real message is the fact that everyone has something to add, some value to add. Be open, and that is really going to make a difference to your career, like it has to mine.
You know, you were speaking about connection and communities, and I need to tell my audience a small story. Lathika and I know each other from last 25 years, but we've lost touch, and Elevate helped us reconnect. And for me, that's the small example of power of connection and communities, just by connecting us. And I'm getting to see all the great things that you've done over your professional career, which leads me to the next question on Sonder Connect. What's the inspiration? What led you to create it?
So, Roopa, I would be, I'm an engineer by training, have been in the technology world. And what was absolutely interesting was when I came back in 2002, I had just had my startup, and I had the Economic Times come to me and say that we're nominating you for to be in the top 10 women in technology. And I just started laughing, and they were a little taken aback, and they said, "Why are you laughing? This is an honor." I said, I came from Denver, Colorado, and I don't know if I would have been top 10 in my neighborhood, right? And here in India, all of India, 1 billion people, I was top 10. And what struck me was at that time, there were very few women in technology who were actually at leadership levels. Today, of course, it's absolutely fabulous to see how the needle has moved and how things are really moving forward, 20 years. But is it enough? Absolutely not. And through my journey as an entrepreneur, what I realized was that I would keep going and speaking at various events, NASCOM, TIE, etc. And post that event, there was really no platform platform to help women founders, and it was my way to say we really need to come together to do something in terms of helping female founders. So 4 of us came together. We were all colleagues who appreciated each other, met each other for advice, and we said, let's create this platform. This was in 2016. And what's been fascinating is that this platform has been really powerful, not just for the female founders, but it's also been a fantastic platform for the mentors who are now a part of it. Over the past 6 years, we've had close to 100 female founders from 8 different countries. I would like to really appreciate Target, because Target has been a sponsor and a very, very strong partner to Sonder Connect over the years, and really appreciate the fact that they recognize and want to be a part of this journey in terms of helping female founders.
That's truly amazing. In 5 to 6 years, what the platform has achieved. Tell us, maybe share us some success stories. It's a finale. We need to hear success stories.
Absolutely. I want to probably break out in song, but I won't for all the listeners, right? Where do I begin? The reality is that we have female founders who are across the board. So we have, Manjari from OncoStem Diagnostic, who has created she's a PhD from the Indian Institute of Science, created a cancer diagnostic marker. We have Lakshmi Chowdhury, who was the editor of First Post, who has now a newsletter called Splainer, which for all of those in the audience, you must read it. It's really, really fascinating. We have Nupur from Nira Finance. She has done a BTech from IIT Delhi in quantum physics, studied at, worked at Goldman Sachs, and now has Nira Finance, which really helps giving out loans to those who are still struggling to find them, right? Youngsters who need access. So, we have founders who came in from Morocco, from Jordan, in data and AI, from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka, we have Lonali, who's working on sustainable clothing. So it's, for me, like I mentioned earlier, Roopa, it's such a fascinating journey, because every time I engage with one of the founders, their journeys are really not just uplifting, but also very, very educational, and I learn from it. All the mentors who are part of Sonder Connect learn from it. So, like I said, if I start, I don't know where to stop, but these are some of the few success stories that we've had. These founders, I would say, have now together raised close to $80 to $90 million in terms of where they are. Our latest success was with a company called Option 3, which now is renamed as Jiffy.ai. They closed their Series B funding of $53 million. So it's so exciting that everyone comes together. We have a WhatsApp chat, good news, question marks, access to information is all put on this chat, and we celebrate together, we grieve together, and we support each other.
I can't, just putting myself in your place, it'll be like wow moment, right? Like to see all these successes and to see the platform actually help. And I'm sure these founders who got the help from the platform are going to be your future mentors, future entrepreneurs who are bringing up others in the workplace. I mean, that's amazing.
Absolutely. They do it today. I'll give you a story. There was a message on the chat a few weeks ago when Gangubai was released, right? And someone messaged saying, hey, can someone give me access to the director of Gangubai? Does anyone know who it is? It wasn't just the name of the director of Gangubai, but the director's telephone number and details were given, right? You're really literally talking in seconds. So that was the power of the network, power of the community, which is what Target is trying to do with Elevate, is building that tribe. I love the word, the tribe. It just makes everything so much more warm, cozy, and a feeling of really that community that you're trying to build.
The safe place to learn
and
lean in. Yeah.
Right.
So what's your advice to women on using these communities, to leaning in, to connecting?
My advice is that finally have an opportunity of having platforms. And I think as a result of technology, when back in the day, right, if I were to date myself, we didn't have we did have smaller platforms, but now what is available thanks to technology are global platforms where you can engage with people. And for those of you who keep saying, I don't have time for networking, I have kids at home, I have a family to take care of, please remember this is investing in yourself. You need to find the time, right? As women, we wear so many hats. I do that, I've done that, and I continue to do it. But however, you need to find that time in investing in yourself, in seeking the help, in identifying who out there can really help you grow and whom you can help in growing, right? It's a two-way street. It's not just a one way where like, what can I get out of it? It has to be something where, what can I give of myself? And for all of you all in the audience, each one of you has something to give. It doesn't mean just because you are straight out of college, you have nothing to give. You'll be surprised. I get a lot from all my millennial team members who are out there on a daily basis. So, you should be really very, very privileged that you have a platform like Elevate to help you grow, and you must leverage it and take it forward.
I think a very good point. I remember one of our sessions talking about at one point in your team, you might have 4 to 5 generations. And we have to figure out, how to connect with all of them and not how to harvest what each one brings to the table. I think that's a very powerful message. Thank you for sharing your perspectives, Lathika. We have a couple of questions from our audiences and participants. So I think we have a question from Shirsha. Over to you, Shirsha.
Thank you, Roopa. Very nice hearing these tips from you, ma'am. But I'm curious, now we are in these times where hybrid work is the thing, right? So how does hybrid work enable us to form these communities more easily, right? Is it helping it, or you mentioned technology has this important role to play. Any words there?
Absolutely. I mean, thanks to technology. Where are you calling in from, Shirsha?
I'm from Bangalore, ma'am.
You're in Bangalore, right? So like you, we have people from all over the country who have dialed in and who are leveraging Target Elevate. And I think that's really the power of what hybrid has brought to the table. I think, in the previous session, in the conversation, the fact is, do you really have to go into work every single day fighting traffic, or can you really be more productive working from home? Personally, I think it's always a combination of the two. It's so nice to meet people in person. I just came in from Delhi to meet, I met my team after a couple of years, and just the 24, 48 hours we had together made a big difference. So I think that's why, working the hybrid mode of using technology is really going to help in terms of creating communities where you have access to people who are not just within your circle, whether it is in terms of your personal circle, but also your professional circle that you can leverage, but people outside the circle, outside your neighborhood, outside your city that you have access to.
Thank you, Shirsha. We have another question from Kavya Surisetti. Kavya, over to you.
Thanks, Roopa. Good evening, ma'am. Pleasure to hear you at Target Elevate. Your journey proves that each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for many such women. Very inspiring journey, and thank you for sharing with us. My question to you is, how has your background and experience been an advantage in a work environment which holds diversity as a core to your mission and values?
So Kavya, thank you for your kind words. A bit about my personal background, right? So in an era where boys were considered really, something that most mothers would want. My mother, I am the third child and a daughter after two sons rather, and my mother was very, very clear that she wanted a daughter. My father, I think, prayed really hard to make sure that, because I think if she had 6 sons, she would have still still want a daughter, right? So I came in, in a family where women were really, really prized, and I was fortunate that I got the same opportunities that my brothers did. And my mother is 86 years old. She's got a master's in sociology, used to play table tennis for Maharashtra state. So I come from a place, my mother-in-law, whom Roopa knows really well, is a gynecologist, was a gynecologist. So I think coming from a family and background where being strong and having strong women leaders in your own home has been very, very, I would say, an example for me in terms of taking things forward. I think from a diversity perspective, again, having been in technology, I still walk into rooms where I'm the only female, we talk about the venture capital space today where there's still very few women. But that doesn't mean we stop trying. I think that's really what the message is out there, is how do we come together as a community to take this forward. I'm not a big fan of March 8th and Women's Day. I think every day should be Women's Day and International Day. But there's one article that I did write, which I personally feel very, very passionate about. You have the UN mission which says he for she, right? I believe it is she for she. And I think each one of us out there, all you women who are here, who've got the privilege of being a part of Elevate, please go out there and make the change that each one of you can do. Pay it forward is really something that I've thought about and lived my life for many, many years. And I encourage each one of you to do that.
Thank you, Lathika. I was just thinking about my own when you were talking about how you're growing up. Mine was total opposite. My mom was married at 17, and but over the years, she always asked me to, study, and she's like, you have to be independent, because it was like learning from her experience to make her daughters. So I think all of us get our strength from something that we have seen as growing up.
That's right.
I think we have one more question from the audience that I will read. It came up in chat. As a business leader, what has been the most significant barrier in your career?
Oh, that's a really, really good question, right? I think, the barrier is something that as women we put on ourselves, in terms of the choices. I wanted to have it all. I wanted to be a mother, I wanted to be a wife, and I wanted to have a career. So could I really, if I wanted to just focus on my career, would that mean that I didn't spend time with my children when they were when they were growing up? I had this actually, what I now look back is when my startup, I raised, venture capital money, built the business to about 600 people, and I had a choice of raising the next round of money to kind of make it, grow it further. But I did have an option for me to being bought out, and I did that because my children at that time were, 7 and 9. And that to me was the barrier in my own head, which was to say that, okay, if I took that next round, that would have meant that I wouldn't have the time that I would want to with my children. Now, did my husband have that barrier? The answer is no. He just focused on his career because he had me to take care of the children. So that is something that I wouldn't use the word barrier, but it was a choice which I have constantly thought about, saying that where would I be, right? Would I have, been that next company which had 100,000 employees if I had the choice, or now, I spend time with my children. So these are choices that we all make. These are, I would say, barriers in your own head. These are choices that each one of you should make. And there is nothing which is wrong, right? It's a personal choice, and please keep that in mind, because that is really the most important lesson that I could, I would tell each one of you. I admire the women who have made the choices, and who are doing extremely well. I don't look down upon them and say, hey, they didn't really spend time with their children or with their families. So again, make that personal choice, and whatever gives you joy. I think that's really the most important message I would give you all.
Great words, Lathika. I remember someone asking me recently for a write-up on women empowerment, and I remember saying that it's not about the title or the role you play, or did you have a choice, and were you happy making the choice? You know, that's your empowerment, right?
Absolutely.
There. Could be
Absolutely.
any choice you make. You know,
That's right.
stay home, go to work, open a or spend 24 hours doing what you like to do. Did you have a choice? So I think, you know, very powerful words. A huge thank you to you and all the wonderful conversations we've had. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure our audience here would like some last words that you want to share.
You know, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. You know, all of you have got this phenomenal platform that Target has created, and Target continues to invest. You know, I'm here in the studio with Roopa, and I see the number of people, dozens who have come through to pull this all together, you know, over the past several months. This is, again, I'm sure, they all have day jobs. This is a passion project for everyone. So for all of you out there, please leverage the platform. You've met some wonderful people. Continue to engage with them. I know I heard about the icebreaker moment where you all exchanged your LinkedIn profiles. You know, don't forget about it. Don't, you know, tomorrow you don't get back into your day jobs and say, hey, you know, I need to go and work on that next piece of code, right? Continue the good work and continue to leverage the community. There is nothing like the community, right? I am a huge believer of that. You all are all very fortunate to have been given this platform by Target. So good luck to each one of you, and again to the entire Target team for putting this program together.